Okay. So are you ready?
Yeah. Great. You shared a document. Did you have to see that on the screen?
Chris,
Yes.
I IM'd you a link to a Google Doc.
Yep. Come on. Come on.
The short code for this is j.mp/D Divvy. Oh, I'll just type it on there on the screen.
Oh, that worked. Frank should have already gotten an invite.
Oh, okay.
If not, I can, because otherwise you won't be able to.
Yeah.
So I am a transportation reporter for a website called Streets Blog Chicago. It is one of 5 cities in the country with Streets Blog. It started in New York City in 2006. Its aim is to promote news about livable streets, about sustainable transportation, about transit, about bicycling, walking, and then also to cover safety issues with our roads and and bicycling and walking and all the fatalities and crashes that we have. So my writing partner and I are really excited about Divvy because we think it's going to be a transformative event in Chicago to increase the number of people who are bicycling for transportation. And I say for transportation because that's really what we care about. If you bike on a lakefront trail because you're getting exercise, it's really not in the purview of our writing and our readership. We are interested in people going to work, going shopping by bicycle. And so Divvy is really going to help that. And I know this because I've seen how it works in other cities. And there you go. That's why we write this blog, because people are getting hurt on bicycles. And now we have 700 new Divvy bicycles being ridden by 1,900 annual members. So we don't know yet how often, because we're going to get that data in 3 months. And so I want people who are interested in bicycling and data to look through this and to see how they can contribute and also what insights you can help us get. And so I've started this document just today with all of our conversation and also some links or applications that a couple of us have already started writing. And so I want to talk about my app, Ian Dees' API, and the official Divvy app. And so a lot of people are asking, where's the official Divvy app? It's called Cycle Finder. It's for Android and iOS, and so there are links in this document. And that's just a kind of a generic app written by the hardware vendor in Canada. And then also I want to talk about Oliver O'Brien's map. And so, Chris, can you click on my app? It's the last one in that list right there. So I have an iOS app, and it's using HTML only. It uses PhoneGap. And click on Divvy Bike Sharing Stations. And then click on Show Nearby Divvy Stations. And so because of Ian's really fast work on creating an API, I've been able to add real-time information. Click on that one, any of them. And so this says 3 bikes available, 24 docks are open. That one says station may be offline. So I'm still working through the kinks in the way my code is written, the way Ian's code is written. And so Ian's sitting here in the front. On Friday, I think you asked me if I would like for you to write me an API, and I said yes. So his API is, Chris, if you click on the second link under the Divvy API links list, it is very simple. And he just copies that JSON file over from the Divvy website every minute, and then you can query it. Ian, you don't have the URL.
I don't. That's a good point. It's on the dock.
Yeah, it is on the dock. It's the fourth one.
The Heroku.
So you can query an individual station, or you can query a radius of stations for a given lat long. And so my app just queries for 100% of the station. It queries for 1,000 stations. And then it just copies it into my app. So click on any point here. And it's really fast. Ian said he tested it to respond to 400 requests per second. And this is really simple. So this is just a demonstration of one way you can go about it. And then Ian also made a Divvy dump, so you can take your trip information from the Divvy website where you log in, and then this is just initial stuff.
Is it like scrapes? Like you log in and it scrapes the site?
Yeah. You give it the password, your username and password. I don't store it somewhere. And it dumps out a CSV of your station, of your trips. The website isn't particularly useful, I discovered today on my first trip, but it is a start.
Yeah, so right now the website, I'm looking at my trips, and I've taken 7 trips. So it gives you the start station, end station, and duration. It has a distance column, but so far it's not filling that in. And so the shortest trip I took was 1 minute and 58 seconds. And that was, oh, actually that was the same station. I think I did that because I was waiting for someone. I didn't want the counter to count against me while I was waiting for someone, so I put it back. And the cool thing is that you can put it back and check it right back out within 10 seconds. So that's called dock surfing. And so let's say you have a trip that takes you 59 minutes. You need 2 bikes. So instead of, you can return one before 30 minutes and take another one out, and you've just had an hour-long free trip, or 59-minute long free trip. If you just kept the same bike for that one trip, you'd be charged $2. So I think that would be a great app idea, is how to dock surf. So you have an hour-long trip, and it tells you, hey, you should probably stop at this station and trade bikes, and to keep your trip for free. And then the last app I want to demonstrate is Oliver O'Brien's app. And so he is a long-term student at the University College of London. He has a system set up to query every bike-sharing city's API all the time and records that data. And okay, you see that big gray circle over Hangzhou, China? That is the world's largest bike-sharing system with like 60,000 bicycles. We thought Paris was big with 20,000, but they went nuts. So Chris, switch to either London or Paris. They're both equally interesting.
Yeah, it says it's offline. Gosh, this guy's better.
Why doesn't he take in like the change in data? Why does he take in the full data?
So right at this default view is right now. And the circle size corresponds to how many docks there are. And then the color, the redder it is, the fuller it is, meaning the fewer bikes, or sorry, the more bikes it has available.
If there's like a yellow circle, that means it's completely full.
Yeah, and that means no one can dock a bike here. You're going to have to go to the next one.
Right.
And then the bluer it is, the more empty it is.
If there's a circle, like a light blue circle, that means
It's completely empty, so you can't check a bike from there. And then with the historical data, click animation, Chris, please. And
it's
then
the lower bottom.
And then click the play button, and you can watch, I think it's like the last 24 hours of activity. And so it's now 2 o'clock in the morning yesterday, and so there's still activity. So the Paris metro shuts down at 1 a.m. every single line, every single station. And now it's 7 in the morning, and there's a little bit more activity, and you can you're starting to see patterns of where people are moving towards. Paris doesn't have like the single core like Chicago does. It has several cores, and we're not seeing the second one. But then you go to London, you can see more patterns there. And so with the historical data that Oliver is gathering and also that Divvy will release quarterly, we'll be able to make our own analyses and predictions on patterns in Chicago. And the one missing data set that we've had in Chicago is where are people riding? And this will be the best piece of data that we've had in forever that would tell us where people are riding. And here's another way people might want to contribute if you're really statistically inclined. Try to divide tourist trips and non-tourist trips. So here's an example. Eric Fisher is well known for his dot maps of Twitter, geographically tagged Twitter data, or tweets. And he predicts, and Flickr photos as well, he predicts which photos are taken by tourists and tweets are posted by tourists and which ones aren't, based on how they cluster. So like the Empire State Building, there's an enormous density of tweets and photos taken there. And he's just assuming that locals don't care to tweet or to photograph the Empire State Building. And I bet that you can probably use the same kind of techniques or thinking and come up with, this is likely a trip taken by a tourist, and this is likely a trip taken by someone who's going to the office. And I think I said all I want to say.
Could you look at like seasonal data? Like seasonal would show tourists versus
I'm not sure if he does that, but I'm sure that you can figure that out from a year's worth of Divvy data.
Actually, he's up there. I was gonna say, are these stations staying all year round?
Yes, they will be open in the winter.
I use the system in Montreal, and they take a lot of people.
And I think Boston and Minneapolis as well. Right? Minneapolis takes out in the winter.
That's because they have hardcore winters there.
They do, but they also,
We're just made of surface.
Minneapolis has a higher percentage of commute to work trips by bike than Chicago does, even
Well,
during the
to
winter.
join, he actually, because I'm live, he actually has to click my link.
Well, we'll try to get Frank, but I guess in the meantime, include any other. I mean, what kind of things? Yeah.
I heard several times that people copy the full. Excuse me, they copy the full JSON file to wherever they analyze it. Why isn't the why aren't incremental changes being used, or why isn't it like changed up as a?
So Divvy is only offering right now the real-time file, or the 1-minute-old file. The guy who was here, Dan, he didn't explain why or why not that happens. And then Ian's API, he could, or you could, submit a pull request and add that code in that starts storing it. Actually, Ian, does your Heroku app store it?
No, I don't have anywhere to put it right now, but it could very easily do that.
So
It's just the fact that the source data from Divvy is full.
So if I remember
1 minute data. They don't give out changes.
The other thing is that Divvy launched on Friday, so
Yeah.
so there's that.
And we had a delay on Friday, which screwed everything up. Data, like, if you're trying to look at the data.
Yeah. So from then until now, I would probably just throw out all the data and not even look at it for analysis reasons.
But you would want to start collecting it now.
Yeah.
At the very beginning, there's only 70 stations.
Just a request list.
This is joining.
Okay.
Yeah, I was really blown away by that, O'Brien.